Hey everybody, welcome to Tough Coffee Shop Talk. I'm your host, Rhonda, and I'm also a real estate agent here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Each week I host this podcast to bring conversations that I've had at our local coffee shop with my collaborative. And each week the conversation is different, which I think is fantastic. We get to have different conversations with all of our members about all sorts of things. And this week we talked about processes, tools, and systems. I know, it sounds like it might have been a bit of a snoozer, but actually it's something I'm really passionate about because it's something that I've been able to do in my business, which helps me ensure that my business can run smoothly so that I can keep all that gobbledygook or all that extra information out of my brain and be able to use it for different things. So it was really great to be able to talk about the different systems and processes with the group. So if you've been here before, welcome back. And if you're new to the podcast, really happy you're here. Thanks everybody for joining along. But let's get right to it. So when we were talking about it, we were talking about, what are different systems and processes? Well, they can be in your personal life, they can be in your business, or they can be a mix of the both. They can be digital, they can be manual, or again, a combination of both. They can keep you organized or help create consistencies. And they can help manage risk and create efficiencies, all of which are super important within a business and honestly within our lives. If we can simplify things, let's face it, it just makes things a little bit easier. So what are some of the benefits of having systems and tools and processes? Well, we dove into that too. Improved efficiencies. Sounds like a good perk, right? Well, improved efficiencies by streamlining your processes and creating clear procedures for how work should be done. What does that really mean? Well, it's processes defined so that it's easy to follow, you can repeat it, and with each repeat, you get a little bit better at it. So you improve it. It's better efficiencies. It's more efficient. So how about enhanced quality? Systems can help ensure consistency and accuracy in the way work is done, which will lead to improved quality. For example, a consistent process will ensure your customer service quality is top-notch. In my business, that's important to me. Having my systems in place to ensure that I have the best customer service for my clients is my number one priority. I want to make sure that when you agree to work with me, that you have an excellent experience and that you feel I'm looking after you because I am, because I have these systems and tools in place. How about greater accountability? Everybody can have a little bit of accountability in life, I suspect. So greater accountability. Systems can provide a clear framework for how work should be done, which can help increase accountability and reduce errors. So even if it's just you in your business, like it is for me, having the processes in place, so I've defined what these processes are, it keeps me accountable to follow my processes, to ensure my processes remain consistent. So it creates that accountability. How about enhanced decision making? This could be a benefit, right? Systematic, structured approach allows for gathering and analyzing of data, which can help support informed decision making. An example from my business is I track transactions. So every deal, every transaction, every real estate transaction that I have, I track the date that I write the contract, the date that the conditions are removed on that offer, and the date that possession happens. So in real estate, in case you don't know, when you take possession or when you give up possession, shortly thereafter is when the agent actually gets paid. So that's a key indicator for us to track because, of course, that tells us when are we getting paid? When is income coming in? So if we wanted to do an analysis on trends, that would help us understand that. But another key date I find is the date that the offers were written. This is important because that tells you when are you actually doing the work? When are you busy out showing houses or having listings, appointments, etc. So that's the date that I track of when was the deal written. So then I know if I want to look at trends, when was I busy? It's super helpful, but because I have processes in place to ensure that that data is captured, I can use that information to trend my business and figure out what the future could hold. Now let's look at improved communication. Systems can help ensure information is shared and communicated effectively. As an example, I have a specific communication I want to share with my clients depending on where they are in the process. I ensure these communications happen when they are supposed to because of my documented processes. So as an example to that, very specific example, if you are a new buyer for me and we are under contract, as soon as we're under contract, I have a process that goes into place. And one of the steps within that process or the checklist is to send out an email to the buyer explaining what the next steps are. And that's a part of my process, which ensures that communication is there. Increased adaptability. Systems can create, let me say that again. Systems can be created with the future in mind, so that adapting to growth and change can be done with ease, ensuring you remain competitive. So when you're building your systems, you can ensure that you're thinking about, okay, so today I'm doing, 10 transactions a month. But what happens if I get to 20 transactions a month? A month. That'd be amazing. A year. 10 transactions a year. What if I get to 20 transactions a year? What does that look like? Will my processes align, and can I scale it? So as an example for me, this past year, I was recognized as the top 50 within eXp Realty in Canada, which means I was one of the top producing agents. And just to give you an idea what that actually means, so I was 40 out of roughly 6,700 agents in Canada, which is actually kind of a big deal and a big compliment to how I run my business. And to achieve that, I did just over 40 units, so 40 transactions, which is a lot, actually. If you didn't know, that's actually a substantial amount of transactions, and is not what is average. It's above average. And for me to be able to do that without an assistant or outside help is only possible because I have system and processes in place. And I believe I'll be able to amp that up some and potentially have 50 transactions in a year without even batting an eye, without even having to think about bringing on outside help, because I have these tools in place. And without having my customer service or any of that suffer, like everything will run smoothly because I have these things in place. So I can adapt it. Enhance compliance. So compliance, not a fun word, not sexy by any means, but systems in place will help ensure you remain compliant, which is important because in our industry, if you are not compliant, it can be a very costly mistake that can happen. As an example, real estate agents are, by law, can only advertise properties that they have written permission to do so. So when you have a contract, one of the clauses in there is that we are given permission to advertise the property. So we can only do that if that contract is in place. So once a listing is sold and the new owner takes possession, we no longer have permission from the owner of that property because our people no longer own it. So we actually need to take down any advertisements that we had on that property. So to ensure I stay compliant and to mitigate that risk, I have steps in my process that ensure when I get to this stage that the property is sold or off market, I remove those advertisements. So just one more place that the systems and tools help ensure my business runs smoothly. Next, we talked about some of the systems, tools, and processes that I actually use in my business, very specific. And CRM was one of the ones that we talked about initially. So CRM, this is a tool, but it's also, I also have processes in place to ensure I use it. Because with any tool, it's only as good as you use it. So for instance, Facebook, it's only as helpful as if you go on it. If you never go on Facebook, you're going to find no value in it. Or what would be another example of a system or a tool? say, geez, it escapes me. But as an example, I use my CRM tool faithfully in my business. That's a part of my process. And for those who don't know, a CRM is a customer relationship management tool. It's basically how you can track specific information about each client to keep track of what it is that they're shopping for, as an example, how to contact them, just where they are in the process, just any information you can have about that customer to ensure that you keep the relationship going. So my process is that every client I get, no matter how hot or cold they are, they're entered into my CRM. It's just the first step that I do. And that's a system with a tool. I have, as another example, I have buyers under contract. I have a process for this. I have a set of checklists, email templates, and other tools in place to ensure my buyer's contract management goes seamlessly. From using Folio for checklists and customer-facing to-do lists to email templates in KV Core, which is the CRM tool that I use, and having these processes covered. This helps ensure I keep my client informed, my brokerage up to date with all the information and docs, and I am not worrying about dropping anything. So a big reason why I started implementing different systems and tools and processes is because I was starting to get too busy, where I was starting to forget things, or I was feeling chaotic and I was feeling stressed about it. And I think we all kind of get into a point where like it tips and you like wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh, I forgot something. And then it's terrifying, right? Because that's not what we want to do. We want to ensure our customer service is spot on. So my encouragement here about having this conversation is to say, put your systems and tools in place when you have the time and when you're not too busy, because then you won't wake up in the middle of the night terrified that you've forgotten something. Anyway, I digress. I also have a seller's under contract process that's very similar to the buyer's under contract process. I also have specific new seller client experience. So if someone contacts me and they want to sell their property, I have templates in place that I can use to be able to create the documents I supply to them when I go to do their CMA. So their comparative market analysis presentation, I have all of that templated so that I can put that package together relevantly quickly so that I can, showcase who I am and what I supply, but also what the process looks like and how I can best serve them. I have checklists for like a buyer's consultation. When you're a new buyer and I want to do a discovery call to figure out, if we're a good fit, what it is you're looking for, little information about your story or, what your situation is, what property are you looking for, what area you're looking for, all of those things. I have a template, basically a checklist or a guidebook in a sense, that helps me ask the right questions and not get off track. Because of course, when you start having a conversation, it's easy to get off track. And I have this template in place to help ensure I'm serving you as best as possible. You heard me mention Folio before. That's a tool that I use in my business. It's how I do my contract management. So once your contract, if you're a buyer or a seller and you go under contract for sale, I have like these checklists that are automatically populated in there that help me ensure all of the steps are done seamlessly and you're informed properly, you as the client, to ensure that everybody is on the same page and feeling like we're all together on this journey. I also use all tools, Google, Calendar being a big one. Everything goes in my calendar. So some of my tools talk directly with my calendar to put things in there, like Folio. If there's any actual dates that need to be put in there, they go into my calendar. I put manual events into my calendar. I have things go in there from my KV Core system. So all of these things go in my calendar because if it doesn't exist in my calendar, it does not exist at all. I will forget, and I don't like to forget, so I put it in my calendar. Everything goes in the calendar. And from a personal perspective, we have a family calendar that we also put in there because, of course, you need to ensure that you're not conflicting on that side as well. So it can all work pretty seamlessly. 2 more things. Notes. Make lots and lots and lots and lots of notes because when you get busy enough or stressed enough, you start to forget things. And if you make notes and you can remember certain things, like potentially a client's spouse's name, or what are the names and ages of their children because they mentioned it to you in conversation, or the names of their pets, or where they're moving from, all the information about their story, make notes of that, because when you have conversations with them and you can remember those things, it helps create that relationship there, and it helps just solidify how much you care. By taking those notes, it just shows that you are invested in that relationship. And lastly, filing. Nobody likes filing. It's a reality. It is something that we have to do. We need to be, diligent in ensuring that we're keeping track of everything. So just come up with a plan of what your filing looks like and stick with it. For me, it's having a system. So I have folders, and that's sorted by the last name of my client. And if they have multiple properties, inside that folder is the name of the property. And I keep all the documents in there, any pictures, anything that pertains to that client that has been sent as a document, I put into that file system. I also have specific file systems for my company information, so where logo files go, or pictures, or marketing information, my templates, all of those things. I have a filing system for that. And that just makes it easier for me to consistently find the information that I'm looking for. But it also allows me the flexibility to be able to add somebody on later if I need to, because I already have that process in place and I already have the system figured out. So it's not like reinventing that, because it already exists. You just need to teach somebody new. So yeah, that was our conversation on systems, tools, and processes. Not a very sexy topic, but it's crucial if you're an entrepreneur, because if you don't have these things in place and you're literally flying by the seat of your pants, it's going to show. And it's going to not create that consistency that you need in your business to be able to have longevity. And I want you guys to have longevity. I want you to be able to grow your businesses like I have and enjoy them. And because I don't have to get stuck in the weeds worrying about, did I take the lockbox off, or did I remember to put the sign up or down? That's actually the easier one to forget. I can excel at my business because those things aren't clouding my memory and filling my brain with things that I just don't need to worry about, because I have a process for me to be able to ensure that that's done. So I highly encourage anybody that specifically in real estate is looking to, amp up their business and prepare for the future, by all means. But I think it applies across all industries. I think and even our personal lives, we have processes so that we can enjoy what it is that we're doing. If it's life, if it's real estate, if it's my collaborative, whatever that is, you have processes in place just to make it better and be able to enjoy it. And take the time now. Take the time early in your career or in your venture, whatever that might be, because that's when you have the time and the mental capacity to make that happen. Yeah. So that was our conversation. Thanks a lot for joining us here at the Tough Coffee Shop Talk. I'm really happy that you came. And, if you like it, subscribe so that you can come back and hear when new episodes are launched. And I'm super excited. So if you made it this far, you're going to hear, or maybe you're just learning, I'm converting this into a video podcast. So you can actually see me now, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. Terrifying, yay, but fun. So yeah, check it out on video if you want to, wherever your podcasts are. Have a great day. Well, that concludes our episode this week. Thanks so much for being here. It really does mean a lot to me. If you haven't already, please subscribe or hit that follow button, as I'd love if you came back week to week. If you're looking for more information on the membership, check out tufinstitute.com. Or if you want more information on me and my real estate business, check out theurbanfarmhousesaskatoon.com. Looking for my socials? I'm on Instagram as rhonda_lavoy_TUF, and on Facebook at The Urban Farmhouse Saskatoon or Rhonda Lavoy-The Urban Farmhouse and eXp Realty. DM me anytime. I'd love to hear from you. I really hope you have a marvelous week, and and I can't wait to bring you an episode again next week.